So we're about 6 months into the generation of the Xbox Series S and X consoles at the time of recording this. And I think we are just now finally being able to see supply catch up to the demand and hopefully maybe this chip shortage going away where we can finally start seeing these Xbox consoles available on a store shelf. But that's not entirely given. We're not so sure that this chip shortage will be fixed in the coming weeks or coming months or maybe even any time in the foreseeable future. So I wanted to make a video talking about actually the old enhanced console, the Xbox One X. The naming scheme is a little bit confusing. A lot of people get the One X confused with the Series X. But just to give you a reminder, the One X is the mid-generation upgrade console from Microsoft that came out in 2017, and it was discontinued in 2020 in favor of the Series X. But I wanted to make a video dedicated to this console and talk about why you should consider buying this console in 2021 and beyond. I have some pros and a little bit of cons on why you should or should not buy this console, but overall, I think right now is a great time to pick up this machine. And let's dive into everything that's great about this console. Firstly, the Xbox One X is a cheaper machine due to its supply. There are a lot of these consoles that are being sold right now. A lot of people want to get rid of these machines because they want to either upgrade to the Series S or the Series X. So that means if more people are selling them online, that should mean that the price will come down. That's more supply. I'm not so sure if the demand is increasing for these machines as well, if people cannot find a Series X and they're going to settle for a One X for an upgrade, but it's still a really powerful machine. The components are about, I think the Series X is twice as powerful as the One X, but the One X is a very powerful machine still. It is discontinued, so from a collector standpoint, I'm not sure if that makes it a little bit more enticing for game collectors to have a piece of hardware that is only been sold for a short amount of time. Really, the One X wasn't even sold on store shelves for 4 years. And I'm not sure if that was its original intention to only be sold for that short amount of time, but maybe for a collector, that would make it a little bit more attractive for them to pick up that machine. Also, to compare directly the One X to the Series S, the prices may be comparable online, so I'm pretty sure you could get a One X right now about in the mid $200 range, and the Series S retails for $299 brand new. So given that if you had the option between getting both of these machines, let's just put into perspective maybe why you should buy a One X over a Series S. And the main advantages that the One X has is that it has a disk drive, so that enables you to play a back catalog of maybe some physical games you've acquired over the years if you have an older Xbox machine. It has a 4K Blu-ray player, so if you have any Blu-ray discs, you can play those in 4K resolution. And it also has a 1 terabyte of capacity, and the Series S does not have any of those things. That's not to say that the Series S is a bad console. I actually think the Series S is an excellent console and a great secondary machine or a Game Pass machine, but I personally prefer physical games over digital games. Maybe that's me just being old-fashioned, but if you're someone that likes your physical media, you have older games from previous Xbox generations, or maybe you have some really nice 4K Blu-rays you want to play on your TV, the One X is going to be a perfect machine for all of those use cases. There's also a back catalog of games that are now Xbox One X enhanced. This is really when we started seeing games being enhanced for a specific machine. We had never really seen that before in the console space. And what's interesting, this is where it gets a little confusing, comparing the One X to the Series S. Many times the Series S does not play backwards compatible games in the One X enhanced mode. So what that means is, like, let's say you have a game that is on the Xbox 360 that got a Xbox One X enhanced patch. A great example is Crackdown 1. That got an Xbox One X enhanced patch. So if you play Crackdown 1, which is a 360 game on your One X, you're going to be able to play it at 4K resolution. I think Digital Foundry did a video detailing how beautiful this game looks in 4K. But just to give you an example, if you download Crackdown 1 on your Series S, you will not get those enhancements. It will actually play it in the as if the game is playing on a One S. I know it's a little confusing throwing around all these console names, but the Series X really inherits all of the One X enhancements, whereas the Series S inherits all of the One S enhancements. So really, you're going to be playing the game at base resolution and base frame rates on the Series S most of the time. There are some exceptions. There's also games that have increased resolution to 4K for the Xbox One X that you will not see on the Series S. Examples of this are Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Halo Wars 2. Games like that, they have patches that are specific to the One X that only increase the resolution but do not increase the frame rate. There also are instances where games get higher frame rates as well. So there are some later games that came to the Xbox One consoles that allow you to choose between would you prefer to have an increased resolution or an increased frame rate. Examples of this are Forza Horizon 4 and Gears Tactics. The game will give you an option. Say, hey, would you prefer to run at 4K 30 frames per second, or would you prefer to run at 1080p 60 frames per second? And I'm a frame rate kind of guy, so I'd always pick the increased frame rate. But I don't think, I actually don't know about this use case, but I don't think you see this on the Series S. I know on the Series X, you get both of those enhancements. You get the 4K at 60 FPS. Also, to kind of compare frame rates here, the One X does not have the FPS boost, and that is something that the Series S does have. And this is a feature that is exclusive to the series consoles, where older games will get a frame rate increase behalf of Xbox, giving you this upgrade for free. Examples of this are, say, Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered got a 60 FPS update, and that is on the series consoles, but the Xbox One X does not get that. However, the Xbox One X is a great Game Pass machine. This could be, maybe you already have a Series S or a Series X and you're still considering buying a One X. And I actually think that's an excellent idea. This could be a great secondary machine, or a machine that you can use to travel if you travel often. It's a great, as I said earlier, it's a great Game Pass machine, and it's a cheaper barrier to entry, as most of the Xbox One and 360 discs are really cheap right now. Let's say you have a Series S as your main machine and you want a One X as your secondary, and then you can now play your physical games on your Xbox One X. A quick point on the One X being a great secondary machine is Microsoft does a fantastic job of making sure that your saves and your progress and all of your games and your apps are spread evenly across all of your devices. So as soon as you buy something on one console, it's automatically going to show up on the other. You can even have it automatically install, and your game saves easily transfer between your machines. There is no manually downloading your game saves or making sure that your saves are backed up to the cloud. It really does just work, and I can play something on one machine, turn off my Xbox, walk into the other room, and turn it on, and there's my save, and I can pick up right where I left off. It is really excellent. Also, the One X does work with Series S and X accessories like controllers and headsets, and everything that you have with you will go forward to the new generation. So maybe you're not ready to jump into this new generation because there are no good exclusive games or games exclusive to that platform that you want to work. Well, what's great is new games will come with both generations on the disc with smart delivery. So you'll get both generations of games on the disc, and all you need to do is insert that disc into your next machine, and it will automatically get that upgrade. This also works for digital games as well, but on physical games it does have it printed on the box. A few cons for the One X, maybe why you may not want to get this machine, is there is no FPS boost or auto HDR. That is exclusive to the series consoles. There's also no quick resume, so you can only really play one game at a time. I know that sounds horrible. And future game enhancements are only coming to the series console. So, like I was saying, they're adding more and more FPS boosted games to the platform all the time, but only the Series S and the Series X consoles are getting these enhancements. However, there are still hundreds of games that have the Xbox One X enhancements, and that can include either increased frame rates or increased resolutions. And the One X does feature HDR out of the box. It's just that this is not auto HDR. This is HDR that developers have to activate on their games. The hard drive is slow on the One X compared to the SSD, but that's going to be given because SSDs are obviously faster than hard drives. And like I said at the top of the video, it has a comparable cost to the Series S. So, it really depends on your use case here. The Series S is a fantastic machine with a lot of great features. But if you are someone that prefers physical games or has 4K Blu-rays, or you want extra capacity, or you want a secondary machine, or you just want to be introduced to this platform but you don't want to jump right into the new generation, the One X I think is a fantastic machine. I've had it since launch, and I still use my One X occasionally, even though I now have a Series X. I put my One X in another room, and I will use that if I go into the other room. Also, you can use Remote Play on the Xbox app from your One X or your Series X, whichever Xbox console you own can do Remote Play. So you can get a Bluetooth controller, attach it to your phone, and then you can play Xbox games wherever you have an internet connection. And this is not xCloud, by the way. This is remote game streaming. So I can be at my relative's house, I could be at a restaurant, whatever the case may be, and I can just attach the game controller to my phone, and then I can launch games from my One X or my Series X. Usually I'll pick the One X because when you're on your phone and that small of a screen, the increased frame rate and resolution is not really going to give me all that much benefit, so I'd rather use my One X for that sort of stuff, but I guess that's neither here nor there. I'd love to know your thoughts about all this in the comments down below. Would you pick up an Xbox One X in 2021 or even beyond? I'd love to know what your decision is. And also, if you're new to the channel, check out our Discord server. We got thousands of people in our Discord server that would love to chat with you about this topic. And I'm excited to see what the future is for the Xbox platform. It seems to be very bright, and a lot of games are coming to the platform. And a lot of them are still going to have Xbox One components, or releases, I should say. So if you have an Xbox One X, you'll still be able to benefit from a lot of these new releases. All right, that does it for me. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And I'll see you, James.